Hello. We're a few days late.
Hello.
Oh, 3 days after the double eviction, but here we are. We made it.
We have fun here. Wait, I'm on my phone. Okay, you can hear me. Great. Fantastic. Yeah, what a crazy stretch of the game. The game finally broke open. We had two sides going after each other. One side took a strike at Dalton last week and it hit. This week, Aaron won HOH. He tried to take a strike at the other side, that side being um Simona, Maeve, and Logan. And he did end up hitting it, but it wasn't without a number of bumps in the road and very close to screwing it up all for himself if Simona didn't make, in my opinion, unfortunately, the biggest blunder of this season so far. This
Mhm.
season would be wildly different right now if she went with her brain and not her gut and her heart.
But also, like,
Um,
the thing is, like, she still could have been evicted. Like, it was very likely that.
exactly. She still easily could have gone home in the double here, but no, literally, yeah, talking with her about it. It's just like she knew it was the nut. Anyway, we'll talk about her later, but um yeah, crazy crazy turn of events. I think so far this week in terms of like this stretch including the double, I think has definitely been my favorite week of the game so far. Um And I think we're in store for an exciting end game. Maybe not the most exciting we've ever had, but like
More exciting
if
than
the
the
season
season.
had to be so bad in the beginning, at least it's interesting in the end. So yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. All right. So let's do this. Not much to talk about here, actually. But Aaron,
Aaron. Yeah, Aaron was the head
you
of
gave him the
household.
four. I had the three last week.
I believe I had the three. Um, and you had the four. Let me
That's
double
what I mean.
check that. But
I think I had the four.
yeah. Yes, I was at the three last
I had
week.
the four. Yeah. Okay.
Um, this week for Aaron, the fact that he was able to not lose one of his numbers this week was great. The thing is, I say that as if he wasn't the HOH and he still somehow almost lost one of his numbers. Um, he very easily could have lost one of his numbers. This entire HOH was just being outplayed by Simona.
Mhm.
Give me one.
I mean, I think I can speak while Scott's gone, but I think first and foremost, like, a lot of the things that happened this week weren't really his fault, except for the fact that, Simona convinced him not to nominate him at the nomination ceremony. Which, to be fair, like, he didn't know that she had a power that could stop her from being nominated at the veto meeting. So, like, I don't blame that totally on him. I think at the end of the day, he still kind of got what he wanted at the end of the week, at the end of his HOH run, and then ultimately at the end of the week, the double eviction. So I don't know. I can't really say that a lot of things were his fault this week. I think that I don't really know why he wanted to nominate Will to give like to I guess to see make sure the perception seemed like they weren't as close, but like everybody knows that those three are all really close. Um, so yeah, that's really all I have to say about Aaron. I think looking forward, at least from the perception of immediately following the double eviction, he's not in a terrible position. Going into the final 5 week, I think that I was really expecting Sean and Maeve to kind of have the most trouble getting through the week. I think they're both targeting each other, and I think they're definitely the two biggest threats in the game. Uh, so that I think is. Oh, someone's calling me. Hold on. Yeah,
New location unlocked. Okay.
yeah. I was just
Um,
basically I was just saying how
I've had my AirPods in the whole time, so
okay,
I
gotcha.
was able to hear the whole thing. Um, can you see me all right? I can't even tell what the lighting or anything is because I don't have a camera. Okay, anyway. No, yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said about Aaron. Essentially, it's like His biggest struggle for me is if he does get to the end, it's not that he's played a bad game. It's just that he has no idea the game that he's played, where it's like,
Mhm.
unfortunately for him, at every turn, he's been outplayed by like everyone. So if he went into the final being like, my game was like jumping from person to person, getting information, and just like going along with it, like I feel like he has a decent argument there. The thing is, I feel like he thinks he's just controlled a lot, and that's not the case. Simona just outplayed him here. Dalton's been outplaying him and leading him along. So like that's just I think his biggest blind spot. Um, but Logan going, not a bad thing for him this week. Um, he's got a core that he's rocking with. I just think he's at the bottom of it as well. So yeah. What is your score at this week?
I'm staying at a 4 this week. This was the outcome that he wanted, I think, but at least even just like assessing what the jury is saying, like I don't think he really has a chance of winning. So unless he
Um,
the right combination of people, aka like Kate, um,
yeah.
but I just don't see it, and
Um,
I don't think that I think he's continuously being made out to be like the
a
fool.
fool.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
but like
keeps
not in
getting
like a
just like
bad
beat
way,
down
just
and played.
like that's like it's just like people are outplaying him. Like it's been mainly been Simona, but yeah,
It's not a fool as in like he's like doing stupid
he's not like
things. It's just
delusional.
like
Yeah,
people are just constantly one step ahead of him.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, because he was HOH and he like his side wasn't taking a shot at. I am raising my score, but I'm raising it to where you're at. I'm at a 4 for Aaron this week. Alrighty, let's talk about, or I guess let's show the graphs first.
Mm, okay.
Let's talk
Kate.
about Kate.
Here, okay,
Um,
I will talk about Kate first. Regardless of how we talk about her in terms of like her strategic prowess, I do enjoy that like when she's here, like she knows who she's with, she knows who she's against, and she is not afraid to say what she wants to say. That is what I will say.
agreed.
And now you can go.
No, 100% that. We've had, people that have fallen into the similar roles as Kate, in my opinion, where it's like the person that maybe strategically isn't driving the most and is there in an alliance, and people don't want to get rid of her, but like she's just there as a number. That's kind of the position that Kate has fallen into. However, the credit that I will definitely give Kate is like, yeah, exactly what you said at this vote. When Will and Aaron were like, Kate, we're evicting Logan. That's just what makes sense. Like, let's do it. Kate was like, I don't know. Logan has always preached loyalty to me. Sean has put me up. Explain to me why I would do that. They're like, well, if Logan wins HOH, we're going to go up. And Kate's like, yeah, if Sean wins HOH, I'm probably going up. So, like, find some other way to convince me. Um, they did eventually, you know what I mean? But like, she put up the fight, she gave her thoughts, and she is someone that, like, I think she's someone that's not going to take any bullshit. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? It's like
100%.
if you're with her, you with her, and as soon as you cross her, she's like, "Great, we don't gotta like that's fine. It's the game, but I'm not working with you moving forward." And that's what happened with Simona. Um, and I think it's going to happen with some other people moving forward. Um, and that's exciting. I think it actually like
She is
does
giving the Emma McIntyre
give
art.
her.
Like she is,
I said it in the draft.
you
Kate
did.
is giving me Emma Mac. Um, and I think her, like, in all honesty, over Aaron, because like here's the thing. While Aaron might have been more involved in the game, Kate, I think, knows where she's at more.
Mhm.
She knows I've been playing a loyalty game. People have turned on me and then I wasn't with them. Here are the people I was with and how I helped them. Was I good at comps? No. Did I win anything? No. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she knows exactly what she's done. So if she gets to the end and is able to accurately lay that out, depending on the person she's next to, I don't think she actually has a 0% chance of winning. And depending on who she's against, I wouldn't hate a Kate win. It's not
Mm,
my first priority, but like if she can do it well, and again, that's like if like that's not like if she just gets to the end and wins. Like no, like I need to see her do it well.
mhm.
But I wouldn't hate it. That being said, um, I think Logan going wasn't perfect for her. I think Sean going would have been better. However, Sean is now with her. Looking forward, it's exciting. However, I do think from a jury perspective, she probably does have the least chance of winning.
Mhm.
I was at a what was I at last week? Was I at the I
Yep.
was at a 4 last week. I was at the 4, you're at the 3. I am lowering my score to a 3 this week just because I think her chances of winning are lower.
And I have my score too. I'm staying at 3. Same thing. I think she has the lowest chances of winning right now. But I also agree that she is someone that I wouldn't hate to see win. So we're gonna see how it goes.
If if she's able to pull through and like do it correctly, which I think she can,
What I don't
I
want
wouldn't hate
for
it.
her to, I don't want her to be next to Sean or Maeve in the final two and lose or and win. Sorry.
And
Um,
win, yeah.
I also would not want her next to Will or Aaron and completely mess up her speech and then like they just give her the win. So like
Yes.
she has to know what she's doing. We'll see what happens, but that's where I'm at with Kate right now. Kate, Kate. Okay, Logan.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. Logan went home this week. Yeah. We're at the point of the game now where it's like being evicted isn't as
Hmm.
bad of a score because at this point it's just like the numbers are so low that people are going to get evicted. Um, and in full transparency, in my opinion, Logan really like should have gone home this week. He shouldn't have. He did everything correctly. Like, you know what I mean? He went up on the block at the pawn because he knew Simona couldn't be backdoored. He knew he had the voting power. He had the final 3 with Maeve and Simona. I don't know what Simona was thinking. She said it outright. Like I know
We'll talk about that when we talk about that.
Logan's gonna be more loyal, but yeah, it just she shouldn't have gone, or he shouldn't have ended up going. I'm curious as to what your score is
Oh, sorry. For Logan,
for Logan.
I went down to a 3. Um, just because he is evicted. Usually, my scores for evictees are between 1 and 3. I think that he is someone who should not have gone home, but in the end, he did. Um, I think that he could have played a little harder at the end to save himself, especially to Simona. He kind of just like I was watching their text in the last few minutes before the eviction, and he kind of was just like, "Oh, if I stay, I stay. Like, I really want you to keep me, but like, so that's what I'm going with. You're going with a 4?
I'm going with a 4, just for the purpose of like he couldn't have done anything else. And I do agree with you that like normally I have evictees between 1 and 3. It's just my only argument for Logan is like literally like I think he did everything correctly.
I just like
Maybe the
yeah.
only thing he could have done better is maybe be the last one on FaceTime with Simona. You know
He
what I
could
mean?
have laid out why it was smarter for her to evict Sean. Like, I feel like she knew why that was true, but she needed to like have
Yeah,
some
he didn't
sense
give
behind
that
it. Like,
final like desperate give. Yeah.
but like whatever. I mean, it happens. But it's great season for Logan overall. I would very much like. I think Logan is one of like the sneakiest picks that I would like to see back.
Keith, I think like leaving the season is going to be, you know, like I think people are going to talk about the Simonas, the
Mhm.
Seans, Dalton, even like Will to an extent. Um, and I think Logan is going to be one of the most underrated game players coming out of the season.
His eviction to me this season, out of the people this season, gives the most like second chance to me.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
But we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But 3.5 for the ending of the season for Logan. Moving on to Maeve.
Yes, Maeve. Um, I'm getting
I think it's
excited.
first. I think it's first we should definitely start off with the fact that this girl is a two-time finalist and one-time winner of the longest and hardest season in Big Brother history. 50 days she played in season 5, in addition to her 24 days the season before. How is she
And
still?
with this week, let alone that, and with this week, she hit her 10th veto win, her 20th comp win, and her 100th day of playing. And there were 2 evictions this week. There were, let alone the whole season.
So
What are these
starting
people
off with
doing?
the fact that she is hands down the biggest competition threat left in the season. Before Simona left, she gave Maeve her notes. So she has all of the notes for the rest of the season for all the competitions. We're going to see that as we move into next week as well. But that's the first and foremost thing. Like, regardless of anything she's done this season so far and how well she's doing, that is something that is going for her big time, I think. So we'll see how
Um,
Rick feels about
let
that.
alone that, like now being back from her trip, her pre-jury game was fantastic. And when her trip hit, it just hit a standstill and the game progressed without her. She has very quickly played catch up and is now just as in it as I think the rest of these players, if not more.
Yeah.
Her reads on the game this week were so accurate. She told Simona, and she was right. She was like, we need to keep Logan. He's loyal to us. Sean is better at comps. Sean said your name. I know he said my name. Like, why are we doing this? She didn't push hard enough for it, in my opinion. But like, she was right. She was point blank right. I also think like for the other side, she's simultaneously always going to be the scapegoat of like, oh, like we don't want to turn on each other. So I guess like Maeve. But the thing is, it's like each of them has, maybe with the exception of Sean, um, I feel like each of them has a decent enough relationship with her that like if she didn't go, they would just as quickly run to work with her to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not like a thing, for example, like Simona, where I feel like if they couldn't take Simona out, they weren't going to go and strategize with Simona to do something. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Whereas I do see that with Maeve. And I think Maeve knows her path to the end. She's the, I know Sean has won the most comps. Maeve is the biggest competition threat. And the thing is, no one like knows it except for the wiki. And they have looked at the wiki and been like, oh, like Maeve is the winningest house guest of all time. So like she'll probably like be good in the end. And it's like, that's an understatement. Good luck beating her in the end. Because here's the other
I would be
thing that
shocked if she didn't win
cannot be
competition every week
underestimated.
until the end of the game. I would be shocked if she didn't win her way to the end
This
too.
the thing is with Maeve, it's like compared to the rest of these house guests, Maeve has, we say experience is key. Maeve doesn't have one season's worth experience of endgame comps. She's got 2. She's done this twice. She knows exactly what's coming because we've got staples. She's been
I was
through
gonna
it
say,
twice.
I
She
think
won them then.
what a lot of people in previous seasons kind of take note of this, but I think people this season are not noting the fact that every season at the end, if you look at the wiki in the competition section, is that we use the same competitions pretty much at the end of the season for every season. The final 5 veto is usually always the count, like the day's competition. What day did this happen? You have to count up. The final 4 HOH is
And
always some
4 has
sort of
always been the web.
A or final 4 HOH is usually always some sort of A or B season trivia. The final 4 vetoes every season is probably one of the only competitions we've done every season at the same point is the web. It's
I think
always
it is the only
and
one.
and hold on, let me look at this for a second. Um, but and then the final 3 is always it's always some sort of endurance for part 1. It's always some sort of battle against someone else trivia season for part 2, and it's always some sort of jury thing for part 3. So we have the same competitions for each season, and I think that what people don't realize is like you can prepare for those. But I'm looking at
Yeah.
this. Hold on.
Jumping to scores real fast just because I do got to go here
Yeah.
pretty quickly. For me, I again we know a little more as to what's going to happen, so I'm separating that. I'm sticking with the score that I had on my paper, which is she just lost Logan and Simona. However, I do feel confident about her. I was at a 5 last week. I'm raising my score to a 6. heading into the final five.
Gotcha. Yeah, and just quick note, I just looked this up. Maeve has the seventh best time in Big Brother history for the web. So we're gonna see how that plays out with this, but she has the experience for this competition. I think she's played it twice. My score, I know she lost a Logan and Simona. I went all the way up to a 7. Maeve and Sean, talking about them a little bit in tandem, they are the two front runners of is their game to lose currently, in my opinion. So honestly, going into the final five, I was not very convinced that they would both survive the week, but we're gonna see what happens. And Maeve, I think, has the best story here. So we're gonna see how it goes. But 6.5 for Maeve this week. Awesome. I think she has awesome trajectory right here and awesome path. So we're gonna see. Now
Talking about Sean next.
God damn.
Wow. God damn. He's doing what, in my opinion, Logan did not do. And it's why Logan went this week over Sean. He knew the people that he couldn't with at the end. He knew the time to strike, and that in order to strike, you have to set yourself up with other people. He's done that. He and Will have had a final two. Aaron made one with him this week at the bait of Sean. Like, Sean really baited Aaron into like wanting to make a final two with him to keep him and ideally not nominate him. He did go up on the block. And like begged Simona, keep him in the game. I'm with you. Sent Logan home, and right at the first chance he could, heartlessly, but that's like what he had to do in this game. Throw Simona and Maeve up, win the veto. Simona goes home. He is now, in my opinion, the biggest person that if he gets to the end, he wins. You know what I mean? He made all the right moves this week. The only thing we have yet to see is he did integrate himself in with Will and Aaron, and Kate to an extent. The piece of information that he didn't fully have is that the three of them were a trio before. So he is definitely like number 4 in that. But that's not to say that like Will doesn't have the good connection with him. So there are things that definitely could happen. But I just, for that reason, I'm not skyrocketing my score. But I was at a 7 last week, and I am moving up. I think he is in the best position to win the game from a jury perspective. It's probably second position next to Maeve comps wise. I think it's pretty okay socially and strategically. And we've seen him be able to get himself out of some tough situations before. So I'm raising my score to an 8.
I'm also going up to an 8. I think honestly, we're at like the trademarked Grace Fader point in the season where like your chances of going home like literally do not contribute that much to my ranking right now. It is how well can you do in these competitions to make sure that you don't get evicted, and what is your chance of winning at the end. And I think Sean is the person to beat in this game. I think that the people who are evicted at the end here, as well as himself, if he gets to the end, will have to do some convincing of some people, I think, because some people don't think that he did that much on the jury. I'm seeing. But I think even with like Simona and Logan getting evicted, like people are starting to realize like, oh, he's been here and he's playing. I cannot believe that he got on FaceTime and convinced Simona that she should keep him. Like, I cannot believe that she did that. So I've been saying it all season long. Sean is the person to beat. Sean is the person to watch out for. When Simona goes home, it's going to be Sean. Granted, it happened a little later than I thought it was going to, but I'm going.
His only issue is his only issue I think is the fact that everyone knows it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is also he knows his stuff. I think he got a little tripped up yesterday with the competition and how it goes, but he went on FaceTime with I think Will, and he was like, oh, I forgot. Sorry, I forgot we're not talking about this week, but he went on FaceTime yesterday. He was like, for these end competitions, like I'm making a complete spreadsheet. Like everything that I missed in today's veto, like I'm filling every gap in, making sure nothing is missed. I mean, I don't want to speak too far ahead, but I think it's going to be him. It's going to be between him and Maeve, obviously, for the web. And it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, don't speak too far ahead. We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah. But yeah.
Anyway, moving forward, because I have like 2 minutes. Simona, she was this close to playing a perfect week. And unfortunately, the blender that she made it like none of it worth it, in my opinion. She talked her way off the block initially. Aaron, there was zero reason why that was a smart move. 0% reason. And I understand that it worked out. She wasn't picked for the veto. But the fact that Simona did that was insane. Then she had her power and saved herself. And she knew about Logan's vote thing. Everything was right there for her, Logan, and Maeve to be in the final six. Why did you vote on? Why did she do that? Because Sean, besides her, is the biggest competition threat before we get to these season trivia type comps. And he won HOHVO and sent her right out the door immediately after Simona saved him. You know what I mean? There wasn't anything that she could do. I'm balancing the gigantic blunder that she made with the incredible game that she played this week. For me, unfortunately, I just think it was such a glaring error. I am going to go down to a 2. I was highly considering a 3, but this just it was a big blunder, and it was like a huge thing that just like she just pulled the wrong piece out of the Jenga tower, and it just came crumbling down immediately.
Yeah, I don't think
So that's where I'm at for Simona.
that is my biggest flaw for her. I mean, it was a very big blunder. Like I said before, like she could have gone anyway in that. I think you don't want to be in a position ever where it's like, especially we're still a little far from the end of the game in terms of the double eviction, but you don't want to be in a position where you're like begging for your life at an eviction and everybody knows that it's not going to work because you are clearly the biggest threat. I think she just made herself out to be too big of a threat. Like she did not really need to win all 4 of the HOH competitions. A lot, like probably 2 or 3 of them she didn't have to win. And I think she kind of just set herself up incorrectly, I think is my opinion on that. But since she was so close to the end, and she was obviously the clear front runner of the season. She just made one error. I'm going down to a 3.
Yeah, I was considering that as well, but
those are my thoughts with Simona this week. Very tough, but yeah, front runner of the season right there. Okay, let's finish it up with Will.
when people talk about the season, they're gonna talk about Simona. You know what I mean? Like she is the face of the season, in my opinion. Okay, yes, wrapping it up here with Will. Will is someone that's interesting where it's like I do see him smack dab in the middle. You know what I mean? Where in my opinion, you've got Sean and Maeve that are the front runners. You've got Aaron and Kate that are a little too far behind, who I think have a great shot at the end. Will is right in that middle ground where it's like he has the underdog story. He's made enough moves. He hasn't been perfect. He's made a large number of mistakes. He is like literally like right in that flux. I don't see anyone targeting him first. However, I do. It's a really interesting situation in terms of likelihood to win at the end. Right now, I would rank it Sean, Maeve, Will, Aaron, Kate. But I think Will's chances of getting there are actually pretty high, seeing that he has the final 2 with Sean, he has the final 2 with Kate, he in good with Aaron. Maeve is the one question mark. For those reasons, I am raising my score to a 6 for Will.
That's where
I think he's got a pretty solid shot at it.
That's where I'm at as well. I agree with everything you said. I think Will has been probably the most underrated player this season. So we're gonna see us
He's just
rating him.
I feel like I said this earlier. He's played well the whole time, but it's like all of the gameplay that he's played well has been his, but also all of his blunders are solely his. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so we're down to 5 going into the last 5 days of the game. That was after the double eviction. We're at 48 hours from finishing the season currently as we speak. Very interesting. We still have a lot of game left in the next 48 hours. So I mean, you haven't seen all this week yet, but after the evictions tonight and after this, we got 2 evictions left and then one more vote and the season's over. Which reminds me,
very exciting.
I need to continue making the episodes. That's what that reminds me of.
Yes, I need to make the edits. That'll happen eventually. But yes, alrighty, everyone.
Okay.
Goodbye.